James Bond's franchise director choices. Here's who tops the list. Yay. I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. See, for some of you, it's what they've done to Star Wars. For me, it's what they've done to Bond.
Yeah.
Of course, I could argue James Bond, he's a literary character. You can still go back to the books, much like with Lord of the Rings. There's still
which
the books.
we have. We've gone out of our way to make sure we have.
I made sure I had
early
the
editions.
uncut version. Yes.
Yeah.
Because, this is a British man living in the 50s.
David Pensack says, didn't the last Bond film go through several directors before the final one? Yeah.
They originally wanted Guy Ritchie, and he might have made it interesting movies. He was going to have Bond get Me Too'd, but I guess maybe the producer didn't like that idea. Because I guess maybe it would have thrown shade on the Me Too.
So instead of him getting Me Too'd, he gets cucked. And killed.
Well, I don't know about that, but yeah, it was very... Oh, this last movie. Eventually, we're going to do the second stream with Retro Blasting about the latter half of the Bond films. We'll get into this on that stream on Troy's channel on No Time to Die. Oh boy, yeah. But I guess they're going to do another. They're going to reboot again, unless they're going to set this in the Brosnan timeline. Because I don't want to think about it. EM Productions, the studio behind the James Bond franchise, is reportedly close to finding the right director to bring the iconic adventures of 007 back to the big screen following Daniel Craig's departure in 2021's No Time to Die. Yeah, that's one way of putting it, his departure in No Time to Die. While much speculation has focused on who will be cast as Bond, the filmmaker chosen to helm is equally important and will indicate the kind of approach, comedic, action-based, gritty, the studio will take as their beloved franchise heads into its latest era. Is it me, or are they overthinking too much? It used to be they would just hire a competent action movie director and just it's exotic locales, super villain, beautiful women. That's your Bond movie.
If you can find someone that actually understands that. See, that's part of the problem. Curtis says, I still want Henry Cavill, but I'm sure we won't get him.
No, we're not gonna get him.
At this point, it's not even about who plays James Bond. We got to see who's going to be writing and directing.
Well, who plays is important too, but
that's true. But that comes later.
I'm not sure if I like who the favorite is right now, but people tell me that I should give him a chance. But
Dark Woods isn't wrong. I predict the next James Bond will be a lesbian, non-binary member of ISIS. Yeah.
I don't know. Well, they did say that it will be played. I think they're going to stick with making him a male actor. I don't know how far off the reservation. My worry is it's going to be about how the producer of the series says, well, men have evolved, and we're going to try to cater that. I'm like, what do you mean by that? Barbara Broccoli should take her father's advice and don't mess with Bond. Keep what's works. Yes. Okay. I'll read the article a bit. A bit more. Let me see. According to Telegraph, Eon has started meeting with potential directors, with Academy Award winner Edward Berger, best known for 2022's All Quiet on the Western Front, at the top of the list. Interestingly, he has also been tapped for the next installment of the Bourne franchise, suggesting the studio is looking to follow in the footsteps of the amnesiac assassin.
Yeah,
as they did with the Daniel Craig-led reboot. Yes, they got embarrassed by Die Another Day. And I think when they started with Daniel Craig, they were wanting to make it more like a Jason Bourne-style spy movie. While many long for a James Bond movie helmed by Christopher Nolan, the report claims that the studio is instead looking for another Martin Campbell, who successfully rebooted Bond in 2006's Casino Royale. They want a competent director who they can control what he does.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than an incompetent director that they controlled the last movie. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't like No Time to Die. Anyway, in other words, they are seeking a safe and seasoned pair of hands without the sort of distinctive personal style that would impinge on Bond's own. That's why they didn't use Quentin Tarantino to do Casino Royale, because he's the one that pitched that idea. Other names being discussed alongside Berger include screenwriter Kelly Marcel, known for writing 50 Shades of Grey and the Venom movies.
Oh those are genius.
Oh boy.
You know, I mean, that's a CV right there. I mean,
is he going to take a sip of the Vesper Martini and say it's Vesper time? and throw it down.
Yeah, exactly.
Just filmmakers David McCode, Bart Langton, and Jan Damage have also been mentioned and would make interesting choices for the next Bond saga and suggest the studio would continue a grounded and gritty approach. Why don't they get the guy that's been doing the John Wick movies? Wouldn't that make sense?
That would make absolute sense. Here's the other thing. You said something that got me thinking. I think most fans are saying it would be nice if they would just go back, reboot from the beginning, but set it during the Cold War, right? Yeah. But you just made a brilliant idea. What if they were to go back and just continue the Pierce Brosnan era? Just assume that everything before that was canon too.
I don't want them to do that. Because they're going to have old man Pierce Brosnan show up and he's going to get killed in a horrible fashion. I give the name Bond.
Yeah, no.
I don't want them doing that. I don't want them messing with that
here's how they do it.
The only thing I can say about the Daniel Craig era is at least it's self-contained. It doesn't tie into the other Bond.
What they do is they cast a new James Bond, a young guy, right? Yeah. And you have the story be where he's got to take on a new agent as a protege.
What?
And throughout the story, he explains in just a few lines here and there, there was this time that this happened, this time that happened, and basically lay out the canon of all the previous James Bond films.
Right.
All the Bond fans are going to go, I know what they're talking about. Yeah. And all the new people will be all caught up.
Okay. Oh, you mean him playing James Bond tells what he's done before?
Yes. Well, this was like that time that I got married and my wife got killed. And
they used to do that. Even going up to Roger Moore, and they would do it subtly. They would say stuff like when the Russian agent goes up to Bond and says, "Oh, I know that you like your martini shaken, not stirred. License to Kill has done so on many occasions. Many women, but only married once." And then he says, "Stop talking." And she's like, "Oh, you're sensitive about some things." Yes, he didn't.
Yeah, that was a great line.
Yes.
Real quick, I want to say hi, if he's still here, to DJ Play Nice, who's just stopping by to bump the algorithm. Thank you so much.
Thank you, DJ Play Nice. Where are you? I'll see if I can nick you up there. Okay, there we go.
There you go.
Stopping by to say have a fantastic weekend. I know they are dragging their feet on this Bond film. I can only say that maybe they're trying to make sure they can go in it for the long haul and get back to doing them. They used to do a Bond movie every 2 or 3 years, and now it's like
there is wisdom to that. And I'm not saying that they have to put this much time in between each movie. They can get themselves back to a 2 to 3 year span, but they've got to get the first one right. They've got to get their trajectory on correctly.
Okay. I have no problem with them redoing some of the Bond stories. Well, I thought they were going to do that with the Craig era when they did Casino Royale. They're going to start over and do the novels again and maybe be closer to the books. No.
That would have been nice. I'll tell you what. And look, Hollywood, you guys are all lazy fucks. So just pick up the books and turn them into screenplays and do them exactly the way the books say.
I would like to see, well, they can't do Moonraker, though, because they did Moonraker once and it was completely different. And they can't do Moonraker now because the big reveal of the villain wouldn't make sense in a modern sense unless they were setting it in period, like you were saying.
Exactly. Yeah. That's how they should do it.
Anyway, Aaron Taylor. Yeah, okay. They go on to say Aaron Taylor Johnson is the favorite to play him. He's the one that played Kick-Ass in the movie Kick-Ass. Remember? The nerdy guy that becomes the superhero? You know that movie? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know about those two. With the likes of Taylor Johnson, Henry Cavill, often favored by bookies, the final choice. They're not going to cast Cavill. We want Cavill. That's why they're not going to cast him.
Exactly. But
let's be honest here. Cavill literally is the man that women want and that men want to be. Right?
Well, I mean, that is true. The other thing, too, is the longer it takes, the more this is going to start looking like Never Say Never Again if they cast Cavill.
Yeah, it is. He was always the books start out he's in his 30s already. He's not a young guy. Right. They did explain how he got his 00 status. It was during the war. It was by killing a Vichy French, which was a Frenchman working for the Germans during World War II, right?
Yeah.
and then it was I think someone working for Japan in New York City. Those are the
Actually,
two people.
if they were to reboot in period,
set it in World War II.
No.
Do like the first kills. That'd be interesting.
No. Well, it would be interesting, but no, I don't think you should do that because that gets into way prequel. No, I think they should start it out with whatever Casino Royale or whatever, right? But have the opening montage be scenes from that early life.
It'd be interesting,
right?
Oh man, I loved the book Dr. No. I'm reading the books because I started reading the Bond books because I'm worried we're never going to get decent Bond movies again.
That's for sure.
There is apparently a Bond video game in the works, and I hope whoever's doing it, guys, if you treat this and make this its own universe, not shared with the movies, and just do your own thing, you might have something on your hands akin to like those Batman Arkham games or those. Or
That's
something
true.
else.
That's a great point.
I mean, heck, you could make Dr. No, the book Dr. No, into a survival horror game.
The other thing I want to say is Hollywood better get their heads out of their asses and start making good stuff, because we are quickly approaching the point where with AI art and AI voices and all this kind of stuff, fans are going to start making their own stuff. They're going to just take the books, plug them into AI, and say, turn this into a movie. Exactly.
I keep watching those 50s Panavision things.
Right? Exactly. They're not quite there, but they're getting close.
Yeah. I don't know. I forgot what I saw.
Jesse says they're too lazy to read. Yeah, that's you're absolutely right.
The director of the last
But you know what? Like I said, just feed them into the AI and let the AI spit out the script.
You had the Largo character in the last movie. He had a bionic eye. That's not James Bond. We don't have bionic eyes right now. I'm more to the pity of many who can't see. I wish we did, but